here's Trooper Joe, and he's about ready to get to go. You know, I'm here to keep it real for you. So far, nothing real's been happening. So ain't nothing for me to do.
What's going on, Worcester?
Okay.
Same bad time, same bad station. It's your man Keith Laporte, a.k.a. Sir More the Keys to Door. How you doing? What's going on? Happy Tuesday.
What's going on? It's your boy Truth It and 5 o'clock Shadow, and I'm enjoying the non-realness.
The non-realness. What's going on, Truth?
Go on, introduce something.
Nah, but when you was just talking, the music was playing in the back. So you can introduce yourself.
It's Trooper Joe.
Here to keep it real.
From Archangel, I return to Chivalry on Masterfield Radio, and that's Wednesdays from 3 to 4. Right now, I'm here at the world-renowned, the world-famous, the most greatest show that ever graced the United States of America, Russia, China, Germany, all the South Pacifics, and I'm here to keep it real for you.
I wish I had an applause. Applause!
Applaud that.
Yo, word. It's the best damn talk show in the world right now. Yo, you know what? I'd like to ask you a question or two. What's the temperature check on America and their chivalry? As far
What's
as
the
men.
temperature check on?
Yeah, like men being chivalrous. So you think it's high up there or it's very low?
Very, very, very low at this point.
So men aren't chivalrous.
Men aren't chivalrous, and women aren't receptive of chivalry either. The act of chivalry itself has been really not addressed for so long that a lot of people know the word. Some can spell it, some can't. But there's not many people that adhere to the word or understand or even feel the privilege of being a chivalrous person. It's a privilege sent down from above that you're able to do something to make somebody else's life just a little bit happier at no expense to you, at no congratulatory remarks given to you. It's just a privilege to make somebody feel good, and they kind of lost that in this environment that we live in now. But don't worry, Trooper Joe's here.
Do you think it's because of feminism?
About feminism?
The growth of feminism? A lot of hypersensitive people who are feminists, do you think that has to do with chivalry being dead?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's about feminism itself. I don't see anything wrong with feminism myself. Personally, it's all right. I think it has to do more with a need for people to feel as though they're great. And I'll be talking about this Wednesday anyways on the show about how people have this need to feel that they're greater than someone else. They don't care who it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but for that one little moment, they want to feel as though they have more power, they have more stamina, they have more swagger, they have more something that makes them greater than someone else until they turn a corner and here comes somebody else whose swag is just a little bit better than theirs, and then they fall into almost a state of depression. And like I said, with the chivalry, chivalry is something that you don't have to do that stuff. It's a privilege. I don't even expect the program to really, get enough people in there to understand the privilege of not sacrificing your life for somebody, but to actually being able to give up your life for somebody else. This is a powerful feeling, and that's a total privilege. And you don't get any greater than that,
it goes to, I know people hate, well, not people, I know people hate, but you catch more bees with sugar than vinegar. And
I want to catch bees.
I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna elaborate on that analogy for with this example of I'm working with some young men. I'm trying to give them the name of Young Men in Action. And the first thing I told them to do is in the morning is to do something for somebody else. And I just said that because I've heard you say it for a long time. And then it goes.
In a business perspective, I was talking about that.
Yeah, but even in life,
yeah.
I think it's self-perspective. I'm starting to understand it. And it goes back to just your human needs. That's what I'm thinking about. Your human needs is you have to give back. That whole the need to feel a part of, or what he says, self-serving, but to do something for somebody without nothing in return. That's a human need. You know what I mean? That to feel like that. But the total opposite feeling of that need, that bare human need, is do something for myself. So think about it, and we're in a real capitalist, individualistic society. So the higher calling or the high road on this is, if I was to leave this radio station and focus on doing something for somebody else every second of my life, it would benefit me more than me walking outside of this station saying I need to do something for Keith's Report. Exactly. I would get and it's just starting to dawn on me like that. But it's like, it would be more fulfilling for my spirit and my soul to say, I've done, all I'm doing is for others, no matter what comes in return. Because I already know you do things for others without nothing in return. Just the reward is crazy. It's priceless.
Yeah, that what I was telling you before was in the business concept and stuff. People got from. This is just my opinion. People like to go out there and they use the word, well, we're going to do networking and stuff, so we'll have this big old meeting and stuff, and we'll invite all the people from this organization and this organization, this organization, and you go around and you network with all these people and leave your card, take their card, and the brochures get passed all over the place, and everybody smiles and laughs and shakes hands, and everybody's good, and you might find somebody that you can actually converse with and maybe make it a business deal or something like that. But that's not what I'm talking about, doing something for somebody else in a business perspective. You'll never be able to be somebody that's really great and successful in any form of business unless you have done something for somebody else, is what I'm saying. And by that I mean, if you got a business where your business is selling water, and you've never given away water to people who needed water, your word doesn't get, your business doesn't get out there as a very humanistic kind of righteous business that, yeah, I'm going to buy some of their water now, because, when I needed some water, they gave me some water, This is what I mean by doing something for somebody else. In any kind of business venture that you go into, if you've never done anything for anybody else, you will not succeed.
Yeah, that's deep though. I know that's deep. I know I go to the Gold Star Boulevard Diner. Whenever I go there, the guy tells me, like, go ahead, take a free, go ahead and take a drink. Don't worry about paying for it. And he's a Greek dude, and I'm like, that must be his business practices at the end of the day. And I see, and there was one specific time that a lady came in there, and she didn't have money. And I guess he knew the lady and so forth. So I'm like, go ahead, don't worry about it. And that's a part. And I remember reading the book that you gave me, The Greatest Salesman in the World. It's like, yeah, you had to give up everything that your business was worth, just to be kind. Like, would you do that? Would you do that with any? That's the question. Would you give up your worldly possessions right now, Will, for somebody you don't know, if they really needed it?
If they really needed it, yes. Also, one of the things about being nice like that, especially in a business sense, is you get blessings can come in the form of, for example, Miss Worcester's Diner. A lot of people have been there over the years. It's been there a long time. And when they were talking about, taking it down due to the city's revitalization plan, they spared that. They spared that particular landmark, almost you can call it now, because they know that a lot of people would be furious if Miss Worcester's Diner was taken down.
Where's Miss Worcester's Diner?
It's over by, I was about to say over by the strip club, because that's the only other landmark.
Oh, yeah, eminent domain, right next to Sweaty Betty's.
Right, yeah, next to Sweaty Betty's.
Yeah, Sweaty Betty's, I know what you're talking about.
But for the simple fact that, Miss Worcester, a lot of people been there, they've been nice to people that go there.
That place, though. It's kind of like, old, moldy, and dirty, but...
That's what gives it class, the old feel.
That's what makes me not want to go in there, because I don't think you cleaned your silverware.
Okay.
But I like it, like the food. To be true, I grew up at all the diners anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's all good food for a good price. But I know they're taking down Sweaty Betty's too. But it is tradition. But shit. Turn of chivalry. I like that though. A good topic. Let's go pay some bills. You know, and we're gonna come back in. I know I got some topics to talk about. Troop has some topics to talk about, and we'll have some topics to talk about. So we'll be back. Door.
Trooper Joy, I'm still here. Keeping it real.
Right.
To keep it real for you.
No, what was it though? The not real moment.
Yeah, I said I'm enjoying the non-realness.
The non.
You know what? Trooper Joe's been grumpy lately. Have you noticed that?
I'm giving him a hug. I'm giving him a hug after the show.
I don't even like you. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't touch me.
A lot of people don't like you. You know?
Yeah,
Hey,
I would watch that.
a lot of people like you. But you need a hug though, True.
Yeah, Troop. What's going on with you lately? You've been grumpy lately.
Grumpy?
Yeah, you've been.
No, I'm not grumpy. I'm very happy individual, to tell you the truth. This is a happy face.
Okay.
Forged.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm a little discouraged and stuff, and I have some things on my mind that I have to get off my mind. I'm very discouraged with a few organizations that I seem to be part of, because it's like, you know, the non-organizational structures that are there and stuff. It's like I don't see the people wanting to change the non-organizational structure.
Got it.
And that's making me a little frustrated. So when I get this thing, I guess people see it like that when, you know, I'm doing like that. Don't worry, because after about a week or two,
Mm-hmm.
I leave.
Okay.
That's usually when I finally say, all right, enough of this, I'm out of here. But that might be it, I don't know. It's just that like I said, I get tired and stuff like that. Not, you know, I got things that I think should have been addressed a long time ago. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what is this silly game like this? I don't really have time to play this childish game. Or not time, I just don't want to.
But it's bothering you this much, though.
No, it's really not bothering me this much. There's absolutely no real change in my demeanor at all. This is the me that people don't see. It's all me. Anything you see is me. I never try to be anything else but who I am.
Right, but you're showing a different part of you, harsher, more rough side of you. Yes, it is you, but it's not. But you have gotten a little. I'm concerned a little bit.
Well, you don't need to be concerned. You've only seen the playful part of me. I've mostly always kept under wraps the part of me that I'll pat myself on. Highly intellectual,
Mm-hmm.
highly driven, highly functional, with a lot of do's in it and a lot of tact in it and stuff. I really haven't used it much here in Worcester.
Okay.
You know, you might be seeing some of that coming to the surface with the new venture that I'm doing with Jen Kelso.
Mhm.
Sometimes I just put away the playful act because I have to think on a serious note,
Mhm.
because we're doing that other thing as a business, and as a business it has to make money.
Understood.
And for it to make money, some people are going to get their feelings hurt.
Mm.
I really don't care whether people get their feelings hurt or not,
Facts.
you know. If you
I would
pay-
applaud that if we had the applaud button. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like we're playing in a professional arena,
Yep.
and if you want to step into that arena, you know, then you have to bring your professional hat.
With that, I agree. I agree totally. So,
Yeah,
maybe that's
probably
what it is. Yeah.
Probably, because the other things were just
So
more so play.
yeah. So I saw the cool, happy-go-lucky, social fellowship side of Troop, and now I'm seeing the business savvy Troop where he has to kind of. But, so I understand. See.
There's another part you never want to see, but he'll always know when it's going to happen, because the words prior to that is Billy Goat Gruffs come.
If I hear Billy Goat's Grove come, I'm taking off.
Yeah, change your ways.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that that you recognize that there's a change or a shift a little bit, and
Yeah.
whether you care or not, at least you acknowledged it, and we're
Well,
glad.
it ain't my change. It is me, so I don't really recognize it. It's all me. That's
But you
me.
shifted gears. That's a change.
Yeah, I'm in a different environment, two different environments.
Mhm.
Okay? Well, you see me in both of them. You see me in one environment
Mhm.
where nothing gets accomplished,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and then you see me in
Facts.
another environment where we're moving forward. It's moving forward at a slow pace right now, but it's accelerating, and that's a good thing. And that's a more serious type of environment, so I have to be more tactful in the way I address situations.
I got you.
All right.
I smell what you stepped in.
Mhm. Okay, people, which one do you like best from Trooper Joe? The happy-go-lucky? Yeah. The serious intellectual? Or Billy Go Gruff?
Well, we haven't seen Billy Go Gruff.
Hey, you don't want to see Billy Go Gruff.
It's the time and place for each.
Facts.
Facts.
So,
facts.
What's going on?
Facts.
Topics.
I want to talk about the drugs that's going on, the big drug tribunal or whatever they have. there.
Yes. So yesterday, I go to City Hall. They had I guess it was like a national type of thing that they were going to. It was a symposium about opioid addiction in Worcester, and it was interesting, very interesting. I went there, and of course, the big players are there: the manager, the counselor, everybody. They had a panel, and the whole thing was they had a woman there named Mary Lou Leary. She is the deputy director of the State of Local and Tribunal Affairs. She was the moderator for this panel. But before before they opened the panel up for discussion and topics, she talked about what she was about and how she even cracked a joke that she was from Worcester and it's crazy. The lady's from Worcester and Mary Lou Leary's from Worcester. And she is she I guess she's a part of the U.S. Office of National Drug Control Policy. So I paid no mind to this until this morning, because when I first walked in to this thing yesterday that they held, shouts out to the Reyes Cafe. They provided the food for the venue, and as you know the Hector Reyes house is about halfway home for addicts. And
stay on topic.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay on topic. So I get in there. All the big wigs is in there. I see Sarai. I see the people. Sarai. She gives me a hug. And then this lady gets in and talks about I'm from Worcester and she wants to start doing some good work in Worcester. With this opioid problem, and they want to. Well, Spectrum has the lead in this thing that they have nationally, which is called the National Control Drug Strategy. And National Control Drug Strategy is supposed to.
What does that do?
It's supposed to foster healthy individuals and safe communities by reducing drug use and the consequences. They're supposed to, and the strategy is developed to reduce illicit drug use, manufacturing and trafficking, and the use. Give me 1 second to read off the rest of this. It's a long. It was kind of a long list. So the list is. Give me 1 second.
There's 100 people that came to the thing, so that's good that people showed up.
More than that.
Yeah, so it's for illicit drug use, manufacturing and trafficking, drug-related crime and violence, and drug-related health consequences, collaborating with individuals, partnered organizations, and it is vital for the success of the agency. Is committed to the principles of openness outlined in the Open Government Directive. So they lead, and they kept on going into the Open Government Directive. So, and that's a whole, yeah. So, but yeah, the lady, she gets up there and she talks about what she's about, and like I said, the Spectrum House was up there and talking about some of the leading scientific things that they're doing in opioid addiction, and that's why I would love Nate to be here, because it all came back to them getting on a pill and getting into a residential program, and then how they're boosting about these residential programs are so good and so and I guess because you gotta look at the positives, you can't always look at the negatives, right? So. Listen, I'm trying to. The first thing I'm thinking.
If you could see the face,
I'm
giving Keith right now.
But the crazy thing is, and I know Troop hates me going into me, but
you go to you if you want to.
Yes, I go in there, and it's people who look like they have money. I'm like, they're not talking about heroin. Are they not talking about some real stuff right now? Where are the heroin addicts? Where are these people who nobody was in the room? Well, you know what? Yeah, the one guy from the Hector Reyes house who was on the panel was in the room.
Well, heroin addicts are out looking for heroin.
They need to be at the table of anything that has to do with a strategy for them. So that's the first thing I thought about is the same old politics of let's fix this problem without the people who need these resources and help at the table, and let's do it from a residential program which provides nothing but medication. So, and you know, the back of my mind, I am so, what is it, conspiracy theorist. So I'm like, yo, this is nothing but the modern day, like, let's let everybody know heroin's not the way to go no more. Let's pop perks and Xannies. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm thinking. Like, wow, this is like over everybody's head. They're not even really paying attention to, like I said, me and Troop talked about how many people I saw coming there. I saw 124 people within about a 10-block radius, right, coming from downtown to here. And I say that to say none of them were there. They needed help, and you're right, they probably out looking for heroin.
He's got 124 people that would look like they had nothing to do but wander the streets of Worcester.
And that's what broke it down to me, like, what is she really talking about, or what are they really talking about?
Can I tell you what they were talking about?
Go ahead.
I think it was patting on the back, yeah.
All right, yeah, because I good. I'm glad you're going to go in Troop because I'm, Dread St. Mike is the one that usually goes into things like this. But they reported last year that they had a high of 1,023. This year they have 952. So that's about that's
952, that's about 70.
Yeah. It's not like that's nothing to celebrate. It's not like they cut it down in half or something. But yet, you hear once again, I'm so sick of politicians tooting their own horns, man. I'm so tired of it. We seem to be getting it more what to do in this area than in other states, Jim McGovern said, who wasn't one of the panel members but gave a brief speech before the discussion. I think that's a tribute to the leadership here. Like, stop. Like, won't you let your actions speak for itself? Why do you have to toot your own horn all the time? That's politics and business are two different things. But at the same time, the negative effect of always talking about what you do for everybody is the same thing that McGovern and them do. That people are dying. 952 people have had overdoses this year, and he's talking about how better the state is than the other states, and that the leadership is great.
And when I walked in, he was talking, and he led the spectrum as far as leading that 70% reduce rate. And I'm thinking in the back,
70,
not 70%, 70 overdoses, not even percent. That's not even 50%.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that and was like, wow, that's not nothing to be proud about in this city where at the end of the day, I go back to truth. It's a plan. It's the plan of the justification, which is saying whether you're on it, whether you get the help or whether you don't get the help, Worcester is going to drop them numbers. And believe me, it's not gonna be easy for you to be seen and on heroin.
All right, get him, Troop.
Get him. I ain't got nothing really to get him about. It's just that the childish way that they're addressing this drug overdose, not just the whole drug program and everything. It is actually, and I say childish because they don't have the real backstory knowledge of drugs and everything. They refuse to look at that. They're looking at drugs from a moral perspective, and that's all right to look at it as a moral perspective. But looking at it from a moral perspective isn't really going to help that many people. It isn't going to help hardly anybody. All it's going to do is try to make the city look better. It doesn't do anything to really help somebody who's struggling with drugs on the street and everything. Has nothing to do. Their brains deteriorating because they're not using it to the physical effects of the drugs itself that it has on the person. Mm-hmm. They're not really addressing any of these issues.
Applaud that.
They're just looking at, well, see, we're a good city. See how good we are. See how well we treat our poor misfortunate, drug-laden people. Aren't we a real great people? And I have to, and just like you said, he said, I have to applaud the leadership here for doing a good job at really helping these poor souls, these poor lost souls. And they're still out there, poor lost souls. They just haven't been dying lately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there haven't been. There hasn't been. You let one shipment of that killer heroin come in here, they'll be dumping all over the place.
Mhm.
They're still out there using their drugs. They're buying their drugs, using their drugs. The potency just isn't that heavy duty potency that comes every once in a while and really kills a lot of people. But the real backstory to this is that they put so much emphasis, like Willard said, on tooting their own horn and trying to say just how well they are knowledgeable about the drug problem that exists here. And don't worry, folks, I have the answer. It's going to be all right. They don't have an answer for the drugs. They don't. If they really had an answer for these drugs or stuff like that, it would come in two parts. And the biggest part, the lion's share, would be on the prevention, so that there's not going to be making a new generation of people getting addicted to drugs. You never hear that part. You hear this other part about, and you don't even hear the part about doing anything to help the people that's dead. You hear this part that's on the other end of data collecting about how well we did and how good we treat our drug population and stuff. And that's kind of sad, you know, because the people that's on drugs, that I've witnessed it, it is one of the harshest drugs, alcohol and stuff. People like to get high.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a time where people would rather get high than do anything constructive to make themselves a better person, to change their character, to make themselves richer or anything like that. They'll do it tomorrow. They'll get high today. And that's pretty sad.
Yep.
That's pretty sad. That's what I think anyway. A little bit of what I think. What do you think, Keith?
Yeah, well, to my point, the solutions. I didn't hear any solutions. I didn't hear any of the people who needed help at the table giving testimony. I didn't see what I felt needed to be seen in a place where, like we talk about, opioid addiction is a serious thing. You know, it's out there in people's faces in certain areas, and I felt like this was like a celebration. And that's why, I don't know if you remember me saying at the top of this, we have to look at some positive, you know what I mean? I guess it's a way to shed some positive light on the reduction, but it's all money motivated. It had nothing to do with really reducing that number. It had nothing, and like I would feel it's fair for me to say it has something to do with the gentrification process, that they're trying to make Worcester this tourist attraction. They want businesses to come into Worcester, and whether there is a drug problem or not in Worcester, they're going to make sure that it's not out in people's faces.
Or if it is out in people's faces, they'll say, "Hey, we have a recovery school. So we have recovery programs. We have a recovery school." And you know what? Like this girl, my heart goes out to her. She read her essay that she wrote, and everybody stood and applauded her for writing her essay about it. But she says it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for us to say we go to a recovery high school. Nobody focuses on the part where we're getting better. They focus on the part where we were using. No, if you say you're going to a recovery high school, that means you're saying you are trying to make your life better. And there's no such thing as finishing recovery. You're always recovering for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So what is I don't know. And of course they applauded that because it just sounded good, even though it's a direct contradiction of what they're trying to do. Even later on, Miss Leary said, "You don't just recover," said Miss Leary, who promised the audience she would share their commentary with other officials in Washington. Recovery becomes your life. So yeah, if recovery becomes your life, of course you're going to say you go to a recovery school, so they know that you are in the process of recovering, and maybe there's other ways people can help.
For me, I think one of the things that's always lacking in any of these type of programs that come out there is the truth. If these people, just because you've been elected to the city council, or you've been appointed as the general manager, or you've been elected to be a state representative, that might make it so that you have information about what the latest and greatest program's going to be out there. But if you just say the truth, sometimes it's like, I'm in over my head. I'm not really from an area that really knows what it's like. I don't know what it feels like to be a junkie, even though I know junkies. I lost a son to heroin. I know all those things from that perspective, but I really don't know what it's like to be that person who wakes up every day, whatever time it may be, and that person who knows that I gotta get some drugs. I'm sick. There's nothing for me to do. I can't get a job. I can't get off of this. Every time I turn around, there's drugs in my face. I want to get better. There's really nothing there to help me get better. Or, they say, well, you can come to our program. You can come over here and do this program and this program. Yeah, they say I've been there. I've been through all the rehabs and stuff. But I'm so far removed from society's norm that I can't make it in this world. And if the people that's trying to put together programs, from my own personal just opinion, if you start your daily program tactic session with, I'm in over my head, I need some help.
That's a better strategy than
they're making up all these numbers to say we do a great thing.
The funniest thing is when McGovern said, I can't quote him, but it was around like, I'm fortunate that opioid addiction hasn't hit my family. And he was saying it like he was sympathetic to it. And I'm like, huh? Like that, and that's the question I asked. How can someone who represents us, who has no type of knowledge of something, bring back the proper help?
That's a problem.
Like how? Tell me. How can McGovern, who's our representative, supposed to help us deal with an opioid addiction, has no experiences in it? Like you'll just be going around asking people what their experiences are, and then you're going to do it from like Troops at a moral standpoint of, I feel sorry for the addict and I want to help the addict. You know,
right on roll, Shaggy.
Yo, it just blows my mind. You know, to the point where I'm like, I sat back and I thought about it today when I went to go read in the article. I said, you think about opioid addiction. What's the core problem with that? 1 is the drug. 2 is the user, 3 is the dealer. And all you ever hear about when it comes to addiction is the user. Let's feel sympathetic, let's and it's like, let's not help them get off of addiction, let's help them be addicted to something that's legal.
Yeah, they'd love to get a nice pill that everybody can get high off of and then take another pill, like Alice in Wonderland. I mean, that movie was a big comeback for Alice in Wonderland. I got this pill, take this pill, and we can go down the rabbit hole.
The yellow brick road.
You know, they would love to have a system that works like that, but that's not true. We don't have a system where people, because like I said, people like getting high. Some people like getting drunk. I never understood that, but people enjoyed it. They kind of fashioned their lives that, oh man, hey, what are you doing after work? Well, I'm going to the pub and have a few cold ones and stuff. All right, I'll see you there. They like that relaxation and getting that high and stuff. The only thing is that alcohol, that drugs, they don't care nothing about you. They're going to take you out, and sooner or later, you just not going there to have a couple. You going there to cash your check, pay up your bill, and then start on the next bill at the pub. And your life becomes nothing more than totally being drawn down to where you might evolve into some harder drug use. And the kids out here, they're the ones really suffering because the drugs are all in their face.
What?
It's all up in their face and stuff, and their little brains haven't been exposed to enough worldly horror, and I'm going to say horror and misfortune and unhappiness to know that if you go over this way here, even though this person that you're looking at are wearing the fancy clothes and stuff, it fits them. That's why they're still young. But if you go over there, kiss all your older years goodbye. You're going to get around 6 years of trying to be the cutie pie, and then you ain't nothing but the crypt keeper. Right. You know, that's all you turn into. You go down to the graveyard and take care of all the people that's down there with you. And that's sad, because they don't have a shot at life. And that's just not the socially deprived people. That's everybody. All them little kids up there. There's no privilege when it comes to being a junkie
Nope. No,
or
no.
an alcoholic or anything like that. There's no privilege.
As a Christian, one of the most difficult things I deal with is people with addictions. If there's any area of doubt where I have to work on myself in, is like, for example, my sister. She has addiction. She's alcohol addiction, and it's like it stresses my faith out terribly because I don't think honestly she's going to get over it. So it feels like all the praying, all the counseling, all the talking, all the sending her to the doctors and all these AA meetings and programs, Ad Care Hospital. I think it's all a waste of time. Well, I don't think a part of me feels that way because she just hasn't kicked it, and I think she's gonna die due to her alcoholism.
And see, I mean, I guess I'm the optimist when it comes to people with addictions because it's just their road. It's it's their road that they have to walk, and comes a time where they're gonna be. It comes a number of times where they're gonna be faced with making that choice, the easy one or the hard one. And that's why you go back to what she was talking about is recovery is a lifetime process. Like we don't treat it like it's a lifetime process. We don't treat recovery like it's a lifetime process. Now when it's like, oh, if your symptoms are that bad, take this pill.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. That blows my mind. Like so to my point about addiction, man. I would like for the people who represent us, like Troop said, just said we in over our head. We don't know nothing about. Like
Facts.
I said, I see Sarai. She represents this area. You're in over. Just say you're in over your head.
Absolutely.
Don't pretend like everything is coochie crunch. And I understand, and I'm one of them people who I love my Sarai. She will pull out some positiveness that's going on out of very few people who have that power to speak to the masses. Shows positive things. You know what I mean? She does that, but like. Do you really know who you represent? And then at that point, I ask you, when you're a politician, does your priorities change? You can't represent the perceived scum or the perceived low totem pole.
I don't think it's a matter of priority. Like I said earlier, I think that they're addressing the drug problem from a moral avenue, and it's not going to work. There is no moral fiber that says, okay, now if you're going to want to be a good person, you want to be a good citizen, you want to do a powerful thing, you have to get off drugs. You could say that, you could go find a cow and talk to a cow and say those same words, and the cow's still going to be a cow.
Yeah.
You could say that to a person on drugs, and the person on drugs wants to do all those things that you're saying. It's just that the drug not going to let them. And they're not getting that understanding that all your programs and all your big-hearted things and all the rhetoric that you put out there, it's nice, but it's not going to take care of the situation because the only one that's going to be able to cure an addicted person from whatever that addiction is that person himself. You can help and you can support. And most of the time, that support and that help is going to come in something that's going to make you feel very uncomfortable. You're going to have to let that person know, I am not happy with your behavior.
So that's why I'm in over my head over it, because it's like, as a man, you guys know, when there's a problem, you just want to immediately fix it.
Yeah.
Fix it, like, whatever it takes, let's go do it, whoop, and fix it. But it's like to see my sister, like, if my sister's not drinking alcohol, she's shaking. She's younger than I am. She's 35, and to see a 35-year-old woman shaking and looking like she's a zombie when she's walking around, and she needs alcohol that bad just to be calm, just to calm nerves. She needs alcohol throughout the day, all night. It breaks my heart, man, to see that. And that's not even. That's compared to. I mean, I know alcoholism is tough, but to opioids and drug addiction, to see how the people are on the main street, if I would have to see that 24 hours a day, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't.
Yeah. And the part that I think that a lot of people don't recognize is they just didn't start being that person with the alcohol and the drug addiction on Tuesday.
Right.
You know, this has been going on for quite a while. And as that started to take over their life, the other things that probably gave them, that could have gave them joy and happiness, like learning new things, in being creative thinking or something like that, playing sports or you know, whatever it might be. As the addiction gets towards the middle of those things get further and further and further and further away till they don't even become part of the picture anymore. All those things that they used to do, that they aspired to do as a kid. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a policeman. Kids really want to be all those things. And they get into the drugs at some point in their life and everything. All those dreams and stuff like that go away. But what doesn't go away is the amount of research and development and progress made on those actual dreams that they wanted to be part of. Now they can't play. You know, they're so far removed from the game that even when they do have a few good days of sobriety or whatever it is, they don't know what to do with themselves. Their mindset just isn't into the reality of doing anything. You know, they're just going to hang out.
It sounds like me. Or depression.
Yeah, we chalk it up to depression now. We're going to throw a lot of depression out there, and this is. Yeah, a lot of people out there just lost track of their own dreams and aspirations, and then we get into the becoming a good person. And everybody's a good person. There ain't no bad people. Well, there's some bad, crazy people out there, but you know, everybody's basically a good person, at least to somebody. You know, and that's the person that you're trying to look to be a good person is that somebody that's close enough to you to say that you're a good person.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah, I applaud Sarai. Sarai and the other counselors, they got a tough job. But like I said, if they start their meetings on something that they really are in over their head with it, I need help and I'm over my head, I think they get a lot more done than bringing up some statistics that they can pull up. I don't know where they got those statistics from. And there's no answer to the question, why is this gone down? Did those 70 people die? I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't say if Sarai's doing a good or bad job or not.
I don't know. Yeah.
Because I watch on average maybe 2 city council meetings when they come on video the day after on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So and then I can only read up on them, what happens, and I look at Connie Lukes and tease her and stuff like that. But I don't really know enough about what's going on in the city to the point where I can say, oh, she's not doing her job. I mean, it's easy to look at District 4 and say, look, District 4 is a mess. She's not doing her job. But I don't know what she's doing. Maybe a lot of people are working against her to try to get things accomplished.
I remember last year, Tracy, shouts out to Tracy Novak. I'm going to holler at her too. She got to get on the one-man team. She posted last year's tallies of which councilman voted, yay or nay on subjects that passed. And I think this was at the time where they were trying to go at Michael Gaffney because he was voting nay on a lot of stuff that would have helped, people felt would have helped or benefited Worcester as a city. So, but I think maybe that's along the roads of what you want to find out what your councilman is doing. You need to, and if you have a good hold on your community, you need to find out what they've been voting on and what they've been meeting about that's going on in your community. Now that has to be of interest for people, which they're not interested. People aren't interested in that.
It's politics. Politics is how difficult. There's so many layers of politics. Sometimes it's hard. You can look at one aspect of what they're dealing with. Like, for example, when they were dealing with Mosaic, you can study that and say, okay, you know what, they dropped the ball in that. But to just look to see like a whole district and all the things that are going on, redlining and everything else is going on, it's difficult for me. So I can't put her down or anything.
No, we ain't supposed to be putting people down anyway.
Well, look, if she's not doing her job, then she should be. She works for the people, so the people should be. If it's called putting her down, then so be it.
But then the question goes is, what is doing your job if you work for the people? That's what I was trying to say. Do you only represent the ones who show up, Or do you represent the ones who don't show up? Or do you try to have an all? We all know you're not going to have an all-inclusive process. So what is the job of, me representing the people? That's the question that lies.
You should represent the people that voted you in, your constituency. That's the people who put their faith and trust in you to do what it is that you feel is in their best interest. But the people have a responsibility too to talk to the city council. It's a two-way street there like that, and a big wide open door. You should be able to talk to your city council and say, this is what I feel's happening and stuff. I got a little thing here from on the red line that Mo Bergman said, and I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
About the WRA plan and stuff.
Okay.
He said the lack of disposable income among downtown residents has made it difficult for small businesses to survive there. And I like that because he told the absolute truth. There's people living not just in the inner city now, but in many other parts of the city, on the hill and everything, that really don't have any disposable income. The ones in the inner city don't have disposable income. Even though the city little market store is right there, they might have to go into that market store once a week, twice a week, even every day to buy something, but they're not walking out with the same amount of goods that they used to walk out there with.
Well,
Because they don't have the disposable income.
Yeah.
They're not working or anything. And then further on, and another city councilor said, what's her name? I forget her name. No.
Kate Toomey?
Kate Toomey, yeah. She's talking about the redlining and redistricting is going to bring in jobs for these people. It's like, like I said, what planet do you really live on?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think just because these jobs
are going to come in? Why? But
Well, these businesses come in that jobs are going to result from it.
that the people even have the skills to do the work, or even less than have the skills to do the work, are interested in that type of life, that type of work. It's like you can say, they just say these off the cuff type of things and quotes and stuff. This is good for the economy. This is good for the people. Don't worry, hang in there. I think that's Steve Augustus's thing. Hang in there. We're going to make it all powerful.
It's a testament to our leadership.
I like him, but
well, I mean, I like
he's
him
a good
too.
dude,
He's a
but
nice
it's
guy.
like the council is really. It's like bipartisan. It's supposed to be bipartisan with the council and the manager, but it's like the manager is doing his thing off on the side, and the council are doing their own thing that really don't coincide with each other at all. And it's like the manager's trying to push positivity, and then you got councilors that are just trying to just say
they're all just talking. It's like, yeah, we'll help move the small businesses and set them up in different locations and stuff. Like these people been there for 50 years or so, trying to establish their business with these people.
Well, they did get the bike path accomplished.
Oh, they got a bike path.
That's right.
What is it, about 100 feet?
I can jog that and not get tired, and I'm out of shape.
that's great.
Yeah, they do some things that are really, and applaud themselves for hours about this bike path.
Oh, this bike path is going to make Worcester a better place to live.
Oh, it's going to kill obesity or take care of the drug problem. It's a magic thing. I think they hang out with the same architect that was talking to Sarah Palin about that highway up in Alaska.
Uh-huh.
They ain't gonna do anything. It's 1,000 feet. It'll be fun for sprints.
Yep.
That's about it.
And who's going to go to Kilby Street to sprint?
I don't know.
Except to get chased by people on Kilby Street.
They make it easier to pass through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Again, we ask, how does this stuff help? And
Yeah, it's like, why didn't they just say the first thing? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I'm over my head.
You want to know what their excuse for that was? Their excuse was, well, the money was already allocated for that. That's why we had to spend it on that. Well, okay, who voted to make that money allocated for that? Oh, we did. So it's still your fault.
Exactly.
And that's what I don't like. The rhetoric that goes on. They toot their own horns, and then when you say, hey, you did this, they say, oh, no, we had no choice. They always say
the
that.
money was already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
They can defund places at a whim. They can defund places whenever they feel like it. But when you say, why did you put the money into this instead? They don't, oh, we didn't. We had no control over that.
Yeah,
Liars.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were doing.
Nope.
Sounded pretty to a bunch of people that
Yep.
have no concept at all about a bike rider. About anything else, they didn't have it. So it sounded good. So we did it. Just like that highway in Alaska. Sounds
it would be
good. Doesn't
good.
go anywhere.
It would be great if the dudes on the motorbikes that they're trying to take off the city rode that thing all day. Just rode it. That would be
Yeah,
great.
and that was another one.
Yeah.
I heard that on what is the Jordan Levy show, how they're feeling intimidated and threatened. What is it? Causing terror in the streets of Worcester. And all it is a group of kids that got dirt bikes and they ride them around at night.
Right.
Yeah, it's a group of kids, and they probably come from. Some of them kids come from a country where everybody rides a dirt.
And it's
Right.
like, yo, instead
You know,
of
it's
accept it, embrace it, and make it like open for everyone to do. And that's the one thing I didn't like. You got the city manager who was talking about residents' concerns because of the noise. I'm like,
Yeah, the
huh?
noise. I don't care. But some of them, listen,
they
let's be
riding by.
fair.
They like they staying on your lawn. No, they
We
just
have to be
riding
fair.
by.
A lot of them, they be driving, weaving in and out of traffic and stuff, and
But
almost
if
get
they
hit, causing.
That's them. You understand what I'm saying? Hope you got insurance. But at the end of the day, we're not going to sit here and make something that the youth like and they love to do, something that is going to be perceived society don't like. And that's wrong, because at the end of the day, it's more youth than older people.
It's something that they can't stop. If they're old enough to get a driver's license, they can buy
ride
it.
it.
Right.
That's the one
Right.
thing I was saying.
Yep.
Where they breaking the law at, and they were saying
Yeah.
breaking the law was that they were wearing a bandana over their face so they couldn't.
Yeah, if you wear a helmet, it covers your face the same
Yo,
way.
and that's what I was saying. What if you only got the top, half a helmet?
Right.
You can't wear a bandana now to cover. You just got to be swallowing flies. Yo, and it's just crazy. And I'm like thinking, does the city manager ride bikes?
No.
Yes, he does.
We might ride bikes, but we live in a country that's in love with their automobiles.
They in love with the
We
automobiles.
name them, we polish them, we take them to bed with us and kick the wife out if we could. You
The
know
automobile is the horse from the Western
it's
days.
the horse, yeah. And we love that. And for a whole group of people that come in from different countries who's in love with their motorcycles and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's like like I said, it's another case of, well, I really don't know it. God, I need some help.
Yeah, I'm in over my head. You know, I haven't been to any country. That's all you can say. I haven't been to any countries
Right.
that ride their motorcycles
all the time.
You know,
Put
so
your whole
much.
family on it. You know?
Yo, for real, it's like 50 of them one night. I'm like, yo, I saluted it because, yo, come on now.
I'm in over my head. That should be the word of the day, the phrase of the day. I'm in over my head. Just admit it.
They say I'm in over my head. Maybe I need to get these young boys together and talk to them.
Right.
And try to make this a more better environment for everyone. No.
Make a place where they can ride, like behind Griffith Valley, all that field.
And I'm seeing a lot of the
Where that field
skateboarders
out,
out in the streets now,
or not even just succumbing to all that kind of thing like this. Make it so they have to learn these type of rules and regulations, and
Of
then
the
enforce
roads,
the
yes.
rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Just like, don't take it away. Enforce the rules and regulations. You know, if they're breaking the law, then pull them over.
Well, I don't see.
Period.
You
I
talk
mean,
about
that-
law, and I don't know, because I know at the end of the day, the police is just looking at
It ain't about the
the
police.
perception, yes,
it's
it
the
is.
rules and regulations. If
of the
it's-
road. Yes,
Yeah.
but
if you break them, it doesn't matter. You pulled over because you broke the law. That's it.
and there isn't any right now, so
Yeah,
it's
so
all
they're riding
yeah.
free because nobody told
Nobody-
them you can't do this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Where the bikes at? Yeah, that's a funny one though. We got the last 2 minutes.
So,
Like to say, shouts out to my listeners at the house, my wife. Good show, fellas. Good show.
give a shout out to my lovely bride Laura, honey, and give a shout out to my two scientists, Mason and Max. And I'm gonna give a shout out to all special ops and just shout out to anybody who wants one out there. Y'all getting a shout out from Trooper Joe. And if y'all want a hug, I got one of those for you too. Don't worry about it.
There we go.
All right, 5 o'clock shout out today, 5 to 7 at massappealradio.com. Also on TuneIn, keyword Mass Appeal. Also like to give a shout out to Dread St. Mike and
Saint Mike.
Nate Peter Ghost,
Nate's
aka
at a
Kunta, who's not
conference.
here. All right, so shout out to both of them. the real host of the show. So
Yes, tune in to Master Pill Radio. We have 5 o'clock Shadow. We have Archangels. We have
The
the One Man
Return.
Talk Show. And
One Man
we
Team.
have a One Man Team Talk Show. One Man Team Talk Show, baby. So we still Lord the Keys, and we have a bunch of great music. So please download something or just go to masterpillradio.com. We got like 30 seconds left. All right.